Hello, church family. Today is day number 4 in our fasting. How are you doing? We've already adjusted a few things at our house to make it a little bit easier for us, as I am fasting from all processed things, fasting from fast food, fasting from sugar, or things with added sugar, because I can eat fruit and that stuff's natural. But we're trying just to do an intermittent deal during the day, and we have one meal in the evening that meets our new dietary goals for these 21 days. How are you doing? I hope all is well with you and how you are approaching getting ready for next during this fasting time. Today I want to talk about something I saw in a devotion yesterday, and it was about worship. I talked about prayer yesterday and the Father from Mark 9 and being able to pray and fast. Another thing that we need to be in order to be ready for next, we ought to have a place or recognize that worship is our weapon. When it comes to those moments where you want to go back to what was or what was comfortable, you should choose to worship. When you want to cuss out that person on the job or in the chat or on your social media, choose to worship. Just like you should have a space in your house where you pray, you should have a space in your home where you worship, and those places can be one in the same. We've made it a thing to have morning worship in our bedroom. So the kids come into our room at a specific time, and we have worship together as a family. Where are you and your family worshiping? Maybe that's something you can put together or start establishing a time of worship for your family. 3 things that worship does for all of us. 1, worship redirects our focus. What we focus on, we feel in any circumstance. Worship opens the door to peace when you can face an uncertain future. Worship makes us recognize who is King, who is Lord, who's greater than everything and anything else. It redirects your focus. Number 2, worship makes the enemy scatter. In 2 Chronicles 20 and 19, you'll see the story of Jehoshaphat and him bringing Judah, the children of Israel, into a battle against 3 kings. And they put the singers out front, the worshipers, the worship leaders. God instructed Jehoshaphat to put the worshipers out front as they went into battle and trust God to give the victory. For each and every one of us, when we choose to worship, we are trusting in God to give us the victory. And number 3, worship is our testimony to the world. When we worship, we testify to what we've seen God do and how we give homage back to Him. In Acts 16, you guys can remember that famous text where it says, and at midnight, where Paul and Silas prayed and they sang songs. That's Acts chapter 16, verse 25. And at their worship, the walls of the prison fell down. For you and I, during this fasting time, when those hunger pangs start coming, or we want to get back to whether it's watching TV or eating meat or being on social media, whatever you're fasting from, when we get those pangs to do those things, not only should we remember to pray, but I would advise you to worship. And as you worship, you will indeed be able to have your focus redirected. You'd be able to see the enemy scatter, and you would also recognize and be able to put your testimony together for how God showed up again in your life. Let's continue to get ready for next.